All right, man, peace. So First Take had a very good segment on the up-and-coming superstar of the NBA, or one of them, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in. To be honest with you, Giannis reminds me of a longer, taller Scottie Pippen. That's what he reminds me of the most when I watch him play, or maybe a Grant Hill. Of course, his potential is through the roof. The sky's the limit for him. Really, all he has to do is extend his shooting range out beyond the three-point line, and there's really not going to be anything that they can do to stop him.
The Greek Freak has been on fire. Our insider Brian Windhorst with us. Now, Brian,
Another major thing that he has, which is very underrated, is his hand size. He has extremely large hands, long fingers. That's the thing that people don't realize that really set Jordan apart, was his extremely large hands. The thing with Jordan was, not only did Jordan have large hands and long fingers, but what really set Jordan's hands apart was the width of his hands, from his thumb out to his pinky, was extremely wide. That's why he could palm the ball so easily. He could even palm the ball even easier than Shaq could. And Shaq is on record as saying that he was actually jealous of Jordan's ability to manipulate the ball and move it in air like that. Because Shaq was known for his extremely large hands, but even Shaq did not have the hand width that Jordan had in regards to how far his thumb was from the rest of his fingers. Jordan's thumb was far away from the rest of his fingers, which allowed him to really manipulate the ball in the middle of the air. There's even a good video that somebody did on Jordan's hand size. I can't remember the name of it, though. You brothers could look it up. But that's one thing that Giannis has. He has very long fingers. Of course, you have Kawhi Leonard, who has very large hands as well. When you have large hands, it really gives you such an advantage in basketball.
after the success Giannis has had at the start of his career, and we've seen so far this season, if you were starting an NBA franchise, would he be your first pick?
Well, I'll answer before Brian Windhorst answers. And let me say this about Brian Windhorst. I think he does a great job as an NBA reporter. He's one of the few guys who, when he speaks on certain issues in the NBA, I actually will listen to what he has to say and take it seriously. A lot of these guys just talk shit, a.k.a. Chris Broussard, a.k.a. Chris X. Just talk shit all damn day. But Windhorst actually seems to know what he's talking about. His problem is his fat ass needs to go to the gym. All right. I'd hate to put on ESPN one day and hear that he croaked because he couldn't stop eating ham and cheese, because I need to get, some accurate reporting. But anyway, before Windhorst answers, I'll say I think that when you say who you want to pick as a first pick for your team, you have to make a division between, players 24 and younger and, players 30, from 25 to 30, and then players even with LeBron in the league, of course, 30 to 34. Of course, if you were to start a team with any player, I think that most people would pick LeBron. But if you're talking about 24 and younger, I'd probably take either Antetokounmpo or Karl Anthony Towns. I'm a little out on Anthony Davis right now. He has a lot to show me. To me, he's shown that he's injury prone and that he's not able to really elevate his team. But, Karl Anthony Towns has a lot to prove in regards to that area as well. But the advantage I give Karl Anthony Towns over Anthony Davis is that he does not get injured.
Yeah, I think right now he has moved into that spot, Tony. Some executives really love Anthony Davis down in New Orleans. They really love Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota because, you need a dominant big man historically. But when you look at Giannis, one of the things that really attracts everybody is his ability to play all five positions.
Well, in this era, you don't really need a dominant big man anymore. You really just need a dominant wing. That's really what you need, is a dominant wing. And in NBA history, the dominant wing has really been the player that has made the difference in championships. I mean, outside of Bill Russell, you needed a dominant wing. Kareem didn't win championships unless he had dominant wings, that being Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson.
You can play him at point guard on offense. You can play him at center on defense. He can dominate a game with rebounding. He can dominate a game in transition. He can dominate a game blocking shots. His only weak spot in his game is his outside shooting, but that's something that we have seen over the course of careers can be corrected. and he's still very young. And has tremendous upside, even though he is already, in my mind, one of the top 5 players in the NBA.
He's up there. I'm not sure if I would put him top 5, but he's definitely, he's going up there with a bullet. If he can get the MVP this year, which is an outside chance, but if he can, I mean, when I say outside chances, depending on his team's record and also the stats that he puts up, for him to get the MVP, he's going to have to put up at least 29, 30 a game and probably 8 assists, 8 rebounds for him to have a chance. So we'll see if he can do that. If he does, he'll definitely, I believe the NBA will most likely highly consider him for the award because they want to spread the award around. As I stated, LeBron is the sentimental pick, but if Kawhi or Giannis have an outstanding season, they'll give it to them.
Giannis feeling the love from you, Brian, and from everyone, even in Vegas. According to Vegas, he is the favorite to win MVP this season. Thank you, Brian.
That's interesting.
Brian.
Oh, Bill.
Antonietta, thank you kindly. Giannis has...
Yo, look at this dude's hands in the background. Yo, this dude's hands are unbelievable. Look at the size of this guy's hands. Wow.
Passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Look like 2 baseball mitts.
Jabbar for most points through 4 games in Bucks history. He put up at least 30 in all 4 contests. Max?
Yep.
I know how much you like this kid.
Now look at the photo that they have of Giannis in the lower left with the wreath around his head, the Olympian wreath from Greece. Let me say this, and I'm sure that some people will get annoyed by this. The original Greeks were people of color, so-called black people. Okay? It wasn't until the Macedonians came down into the land and invaded under Alexander that you had the introduction of the Caucasian, the so-called Caucasian, into the land of Greece. Okay? The scriptures refer to the original inhabitants of Greece as the sons of Javan or Yawan in the Hebrew, and they became known as Yawan is pronounced today, or they're known in history as the Ionians, Ionians. I mentioned this before. This is where you get the Ionian Sea from. Those were people of color. Okay, you also had the Minoans who settled in Crete and parts of Greece. They came down into Egypt as part of a confederation known as the Sea Peoples, and they invaded Egypt, them along with the Etruscans. Now, the Minoans became known in the scriptures as the Philistines. Okay, they were Hamitic. They were so-called black as well. So the people in Greece today who call themselves Greeks, they're a mixture. That's why they look like how they look. A lot of times you'll see them with the dark curly hair, and they're a mixture of Turks. Back in the ancient world, before they converted to Islam, the Turks were known as Magyars, Magyars. Okay, they mixed with a lot of the indigenous as well as the original Caucasians who conquered that land, known as the Macedonians, who were known in the scriptures as Amalekites. All right, the Macedonians were the sons of Amalek. But that's neither here nor there. Let's let them continue.
Would he be your top pick if you started a team right now?
He has to be. He's 22 years old. He's already been in the league. This is his 4th season. By the way, you know what? Here's some numbers. 77, this is his 5th season. 77, 81, 80, 80. Number of games played. He's durable.
That's a great stat.
Every single season, you know what has increased throughout his career? His points, rebounds, assists, and field goal percentage.
Everything.
That's a great stat as well. To see his field goal percentage especially go up, and one would think that is also to go along with his minutes going up. That shows you that he's getting better every year. Because that's the main thing to watch. If somebody's minutes go up, their cumulative stats are going to go up. Things like points, assists, rebounds. But for his field goal percentage to go up, that is a show of proficiency.
Everything. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a 3-point shot yet, but that is something that is acquirable throughout one's career. We see that because players take that shot a lot. You know why he doesn't have one? So who could stop him from getting to the basket? Mm-hmm. This guy is 6'11". Look, there's nothing against Anthony Davis, and I'll leave Anthony Davis or Karl Anthony Towns or Ben Simmons or Joel.
That's a great name right there. Ben Simmons, man, is impressing me. And this is why I told cats in one of the videos that I did before the season started, watch out for the 76ers, man. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but in the East, they have an outside chance. And especially if Simmons and Embiid stay healthy all season, if they can get that bullshit that's going on with Marcel Fultz resolved soon, they're going to be a problem, man. Because that boy Simmons, he can do everything.
Well, Embiid or Kristaps Porzingis, a lot of up-and-coming.
Porzingis playing his ass off, too. I have to give him credit. I didn't think that he could do what I'm seeing him do so far this season.
Tall, unicorn, freaky type players. Mm-hmm. But the Greek Freak, offensively and defensively at 22 years old, might be the MVP right now. Like, he might win MVP this season. And by the way, could be, things have to break their way, but could be the engine of a dynasty in Milwaukee.
That's way too much. You're going way too damn far now. Let's just stick to Giannis Antetokounmpo and what his upside is. His upside is that, he could be like what they call in baseball a 5-tool player, meaning he can do everything. He can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble, he can rebound, and he can defend. Well, let's stick with him first. When you start talking about a dynasty in Milwaukee, that involves the front office, that involves the players around him and things of that nature. That also involves his ability to make other players better. That's a long ways away. Let's just stick to his potential to maximize his gifts. Right now, I wouldn't quite put him in the top 5. I don't think he's done enough yet to be put inside of that top 5. Right now, you're talking about LeBron, KD, Kawhi, Steph, and Russell Westbrook. Those are the top 5 guys in the NBA right now. Now, if you want to put Antetokounmpo over Westbrook, I don't know if I could do that right now. If Antetokounmpo gets the MVP at the end of the season, then that's something that can be debated.
Of all places, there is nothing like this guy. And as much as I love Anthony Davis, the Greek Freak is faster. He can play the point. And at this moment, he is not only the guy you start the franchise with. I know LeBron James exists, so I won't say that by the end of the
and you missed out your initial point, Max. He's much more durable, right? He's gonna play in all the games.
End of the season, this will be true. So far this season, he's the best player in the NBA.
Real quick, Westgate just said that he does have the best odds to win MVP this season.
Well, the best player in the NBA right now is still LeBron. He's having the best season overall. He's not putting up the numbers of the Greek Freak, but LeBron's proficiency numbers are out of this world right now. But Antetokounmpo is coming.
I don't give a damn what Westgate says.
In Vegas.
Okay? I don't care what Vegas says. I don't care what you says. I damn sure don't care what Brian Windhorst says or anybody else for that matter when it comes to this subject because I love my man Brian Windhorst. But I don't care right now.
I like Brian, too. I wish he would go to Fox Sports 1 where he could replace Chris X. I'm tired of hearing Chris X and his bullshit talking about anonymous sources. Yeah, anonymous sources is you calling yourself.
I am really getting sick and tired of all of y'all folks sitting up there. I mean, you just jump on the bandwagon. I know the Greek Freak's a freak. I know he can play. I get all that. Averaging 36.
This man said, Stephen A. said, I know the Greek Freak is a freak. We talking about basketball, Stephen A.
36 plus right now. Let me just throw out while everybody talking about the Greek Freak in Milwaukee. Well, everybody's talking about that. Let me just throw out there. How old is the Greek Freak?
22.
22. My bad. I don't know if you know this or not. Anthony Davis is a senior citizen. Oh, my God. He did get his AARP card. He's 24.
Yeah, he's 24 with Stephen A. What has he done to really elevate that team? He made the playoffs one time with Monty Williams. For whatever reason, his front office decided to get rid of Monty Williams. I guess they wanted to jump on the Golden State bandwagon and bring in that damn trout mouth coach. I don't know why his name is skipping my mind right now. One of you brothers, Alvin Gentry. Yeah, that damn trout mouth idiot. I don't know why they brought him in. And Anthony Davis hadn't done shit since, other than get injured.
Wow! I mean, he's just beyond his prime. I mean, hold on, no. I ain't Anthony. You had your moment. Let Anthony Davis get the AARP card. Just throw it out there, cause you know what? He's old. He's a senior citizen. My God, he's 24 years old. Stop the presses. He's about to be finished. He's had.
Well, you know what? Maybe Anthony Davis would be better if he shaved that damn unibrow. Maybe he'd get more aerodynamic, stop getting hurt so damn much. Every time he jump up in the air, he'd come down his knee crack. Maybe that unibrow is weighing his ass down. I don't know.
Had 20 years in his career. He's over. But Anthony Davis, 24. let's look at these numbers here. Anthony Davis, 31.7 points per game, 17.3 rebounds, okay, with the nearly 3 assists a game. By the way, while he shoots 53%, because we know the Greek Freak, I mean, he's the only one that can get to the hole. I mean, Anthony Davis can't get to the hole. I mean, at 6'10", 6'11", Anthony Davis can't get to the hole because we talk about the Greek Freak who's 6'11". But Anthony Davis, not only is he a senior citizen, Max, at age 24, did you know that Anthony Davis is about a foot shorter than the Greek Freak? Did you know that? Greek Freak is 6'11". Anthony Davis is 6'10", 6'11", 6'10 and a half. I'm sorry. He's about a foot tall. He's about a foot shorter because that's how everybody's talking about. Everybody talking about the Greek Freak. Oh, my God. Greek Freak. They forgot that Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but Stephen A., the real issue why everybody's forgetting Anthony Davis is because he's never out on the damn floor. Like, you got to get out on the floor. Besides that, Antetokounmpo, he can bring the ball up. He can run the offense. So right now, the NBA is a wing league. It just is. Right, everything is going to revolve around the wings. That's why when people look at the top 10 players, it's always wing players up there.
Davis is about that height. They forgot that Anthony Davis has the handle to play point. They forgot that Anthony.
I don't think so, because if he had that, then that's what they'd be doing with him. There's a reason why they got Drew Holiday there, brother.
Anthony Davis can guard four positions. Hold it, that's right. They forgot that Anthony Davis. Excuse me. They forgot that Anthony Davis.
Yeah, do that same coffee mix thing that Stephen A. does when he's waiting for his turn.
Anthony Davis could defend 4 positions. He could play center. He could block shots. And oh, by the way, the three-point shooting that you brought up, Greek Freak has to work on the three-point shot. He's shooting 16% from threes. I'm sorry, Anthony Davis, 45. The brother's got a three-point shot. No. His career, he's shown he can hit the three. He has shown he can hit the three is what I'm saying.
Greek Freak's getting better.
No, stop it. Oh, please. The bottom line is this. I am not taking anything.
That's a good stat. Anthony Davis is a better outside shooter than him. That's more than fair. I would still take Giannis right now, though, just because he's available.
Anything away from the Greek Freak. But when I look at Anthony Davis, y'all act like it's almost sacrilegious to bring this brother up as if he can't do most of what, and in certain respects, more than the Greek Freak can do.
I was having this argument.
He's a better shooter.
I was having this argument a couple years ago about Anthony Davis. Clearly he's a better shooter.
Is he a better shooter?
Clearly he's a better shooter.
So
who's fast?
So let me
Who's fast?
Greek Freak. Here's the question for you. Serious question. Well, we don't know that because here's the deal. You can play with your back to the basket, or you can play on the perimeter. Can Anthony Davis do both?
Yep.
Yes, he can. Excuse me, can he play more of a big man's role in the Greek Freak? Yes, he can. Is he a better shooter? Yes, he is.
If you want, hold on. All right, you held court on Anthony Davis.
You say it, right?
I'm not here to knock Anthony Davis. I love me some Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is the first guy, maybe Garnett is, but Anthony Davis is the first guy I can think of. He's defending the pick and roll, He's defending both guys at the same time.
Well, yeah, Garnett used to do that. Garnett could defend more than one position at the same time. But Anthony Davis is great at that as well. I mean, hell, Scottie Pippen used to do that as well.
He is ridiculous. And on a per-game basis, you might have a point. If someone said, who's the most valuable non-LeBron James player per game, Anthony Davis, I might even argue Anthony Davis. And in fact, he won a must-win game or a big game against the Spurs.
Where's the but?
Yeah, I remember that a couple of years ago.
But against the Spurs,
however, where is it?
Against the Spurs, when the Spurs needed playoff position, he beat them to get in the playoffs. He's a big money player. Love me some Anthony Davis. He's not durable, period. And the Greek Freak.
That's the best point, Max. You have to accentuate that point because Stephen A. kind of got at us with that with that Anthony Davis soliloquy of his. I give Stephen A. credit. He made some good points. I didn't realize that Anthony Davis was that great from the outside. He did start working on his outside jump shot after they brought in that damn trout mouth coach, Alvin Gentry.
Freak is. He averages 80 games a season.
Hold on. That's not right.
Why is that?
No, what I'm saying is use this.
And he's 2 years younger.
I'm not.
Can't throw that away.
I'm not going to get into the injury.
Why?
Of course, because that's never.
We're not saying who's better. We're saying who you start your franchise with.
What I'm saying to you is this. Well, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that is part of it, Max. Don't try to backtrack now because Stephen A's, kind of got at you. You just got to bolster your point a little more. You have to stick to what you brought out about the availability. If a guy can't play, then how can he be of value? right? The greatest value that you can have is your availability. So right now, we don't even know how much longer Anthony Davis is going to be around. He could be one catastrophic injury away from, being out for 2 years. The Greek Freak has never shown that he has that, that liability in his, in his physique. He has that live, lean physique where he's able to come down out the air and land on his feet like a cat thus far, knock on wood.
If you're talking about who do you start your franchise with, you really gonna say to me, excuse me, well, he's because he's
okay.
Yes,
I am.
That's where we
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Who would argue with that? That's not a debate.
Yeah, well, there you go, Steve. If it's not a debate, then that's you acquiescing and acknowledging that, that being as important a factor as it is, you really can't rebut that.
It sure isn't.
No, because when I'm saying this, I would always concede
Is
that.
Anthony Davis way better than the Greek Freak?
No.
Right. He's, in your opinion, he's a little better than the Greek Freak, right?
I think he's significantly better.
I don't think that he's significantly better, Steve. How could you be significantly better and you're not leading your team to playoff berths? Come on. He has to, let me tell you something. Anthony Davis has to make the playoffs this year with the team that he has with Drew Holiday and Boogie Cousins. They have to make the playoffs, period. Because the Bucks are going to make the playoffs.
Not miles and miles. The Greek is coming.
And look, I know that the Bucks are in the Eastern Conference, okay? But still, they're still going to make the playoffs.
So Anthony Davis
is
on another level.
If you think it's pretty close, you think Anthony Davis is better, but the Greek Freak is almost as good as it gets, right?
Almost.
And one dude might play 60-something games, the other dude plays 80 games. You're going to tell me that injury doesn't play a factor?
That's not what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is that is something that I would concede. I wouldn't even try to debate
so I win.
No, what I'm saying to you is that then you got to let us know. That's what you were talking about. Okay. I didn't know that.
Come on, Steve. Bullshit. How could you not know that health is going to be a major part of who you would pick in the future? When you look at Anthony Davis's history, this guy's missing 20, 25, 30 games a season. So you already know that's not something that just comes out the blue. It's not even as if that he just had that issue, one season. He's had that issue consistently. So you know that is a predetermining factor in who you're going to pick in regards to who you start your franchise with.
Know that?
You gotta let us know. The question is who you start the franchise with.
I see. So we gonna go on national television and have a debate where you gonna squash him by going like this. What, he's gonna get injured? Who the hell? I'm just saying.
Listen, Max, would the Greek Freak be your top pick if you started a team? Yes, he would be.
What I'm saying is there's nothing to discuss if the durability factor is your argument.
Let me ask you.
I can't argue that.
Okay, forget about durability.
That's exactly.
So like Max says, Steve, he wins. Like, come on. If we're only going to debate what somebody does on the court, I mean, shit, we could just go and say, well, Derrick Rose is still the best point guard in the league because of what he did back in 2011. The man can't stay healthy, so he can't be in that argument anymore. He can't be in that discussion. Now, can Anthony Davis possibly descend to the level of a Derrick Rose? Who knows? I hope not. But injuries have diminished great players. And, just in the time I've been watching basketball, I remember guys who looked like they were going to be all-time great. I mean, look at Penny Hardaway. Look at Grant Hill. Guys got debilitating injuries, and they were never the same after they came back. These type of things happen. Hell, Brandon Roy.
I'm talking skill.
Just answer. Hold on. Just answer the question. Would the Greek Freak be your top pick if you started a team? So you got to factor in everything.
Because I'm factoring in talent.
That's all you factor in when you start a team?
Exactly.
No, Steve. That's you not being willing to admit that you're going to lose this debate. Okay? Sorry, but everybody knows that health and durability is the main factor in who you'd pick for the long run.
I'd like to GM against you.
Again, you're not listening. What I'm trying to make you comprehend is I would never argue durability. If you're telling me that somebody is going to get hurt, who can argue that?
No, Steve, no. He's not saying that somebody's going to get hurt. He's saying that needs to be a point of evaluation due to what has happened to Anthony Davis in the past. Now, anybody could look at two guys. We could look at we could look at KD and Kawhi Leonard and say, well, one of them could get hurt. But their history doesn't show that they're injury prone. KD had the foot problem, and now Kawhi has the foot problem. But these are one-time things in their career. They have not been injury-prone players. Anthony Davis has been an injury-prone player. So clearly that is a factor that has to be discussed. So don't try to act like this is just a strange parameter that Max is throwing in and you don't know how to deal with it because it's so unfair. Like, come on, man.
I thought we were talking about basketball skill.
No, here's the question. You're a GM. You can pick anyone in the NBA to start a franchise with. So you have to take into account.
And that is the question. The question is, who would you choose, to start your team with? The question is not who's more talented.
Age, because that tells you how much longer they have in front of them, maybe. And how much better they might get.
So what I should have done.
Size, durability, talent.
So what I should have done, Molly, is started off the debate by saying, "Excuse me, let's take durability aside because we know Anthony."
That's on you.
Yeah, that's on you. That's on you. If you want to pick Anthony Davis, you're the one who has to make those type of set those type of conditions for the debate. Like Mike said, that's on you.
Oh, hold on.
See, I thought we was talking skill.
Okay.
I thought we was talking skill. Ain't nobody give a damn about no damn durability. We understand that.
Molly,
I'm talking basketball.
Let me redo the
From a
question.
basketball perspective,
Yeah.
you sat up there and talked to...
So then, Stephen A., if nobody cares about durability, then you better never mention somebody who's always hurt ever again. I better never hear you talk about a certain guy always being hurt in any of your statements when you come on speaking about sports.
Talked about the Greek freak. Oh, he's only 22 years
That's
of age.
right.
I'm saying to you, the senior citizen that is Anthony Davis happens to be 24.
He's also young,
averaging
but
17
what's older?
rebounds a game.
22,
Shooting better. 45% from three-point range. Has always shot better than a Greek freak who can't buy a three-point shot.
try it again.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
you
talking
are
about.
Stephen A. Smith, general manager. You can pick one NBA player.
I'm going with Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Period.
So if he gets hurt, I don't want to hear you crying. That's part of it.
Okay, that's no problem. And I'm saying to you, I thought we was talking basketball skill.
Look at Molly. Molly's smiling like, whenever Steve grabs his tee, he knows he's losing.
Well, that's part of it.
That's what I thought we were talking.
Part of selecting someone is their skill, their age, their durability, their trajectory, their upside.
I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is, I thought we were talking about purely...
Steve, just admit that you lost, man. Just knock it off. Who the fuck gonna have a conversation about who you gonna pick for the future to lead your franchise and durability is not a leading factor? Particularly if they have a large enough sample in the NBA, that being 3 to 4 years, where you can discern if they have an issue with injuries. You look at a guy like a Ben Simmons. He got hurt last year. Now, if he gets hurt again this year and then the year after that, then you could say, okay, he may be injury prone. Now, if we were to discuss a guy like a Joel Embiid against another center, say Karl Anthony Towns, of course, we're going to say, well, Joel Embiid can do everything, but can he stay healthy? That's common sense, Steve.
Purely basketball skill, because nobody can argue,
This is fun.
nobody can argue that if you're going to get hurt, who would want somebody that's always going to get hurt?
I thought part of your argument could be he might not necessarily get hurt.
No, I'm telling you, I'm thinking basketball skill. I'm going with Anthony Davis.
You could have gone with Karl Anthony Towns. You could have gone with a bunch of guys.
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis.
You guys get sleep last night? You're on fire today.
Yeah, I did. I got
Giannis
like
leads
5
the
and a
league
half.
with 37 points per game. That was fun. When we come...
Yeah, I want to see how long Giannis can keep up the pace that he's taking right now. He came into the season obviously in great condition, great shape, very focused. If he can keep his scoring per game over the 30-point mark, I believe that they will give him the MVP, or he'll be highly considered for it. Kawhi does not look like he's going to be a huge factor in the season. He's missed already the first 5 or 6 games, but we'll see. But right now, Giannis is the guy who they may give it to if he can keep up this pace. The Russell Westbrook MVP has set the standard, the new standard for MVP being who can put up the gaudiest numbers. So we'll see. But anyway, peace.